Damn good coffee. And hot.
And hot, he says. Oh, good morning, folks. Good morning, people of Earth. It's another Mind Dog Monday. Ooh, don't you hate fucking Mondays? Me too. Hey, you got to stop with the F-bomb so early. We're looking at some syndication with some terrestrial radio, and in order to get that to work, I'm going to need to hire a producer to hit the kill switch whenever I say an F-bomb. But that's the only thing that's holding us up right now with that stuff. Some syndication on talk radio in certain popular markets would be very cool to have, but that would mean we have to watch the language and have somebody monitoring everything we say and really be careful about dropping F-bombs like I just did. And part of the reason we chose the streaming rather than, because I could have gotten on terrestrial radio here in Long Island pretty easily, was so because I know I like saying F-bombs. Anyway, good morning. It's Monday, July 25th, 2022. I hope you had a great weekend. I did not. I will tell you that, and it's not a complaint. It's just what it is. Not the best of weekends. Started off with, well, it didn't start off this way. I had some private gigs on Friday that weren't great, just not fulfilling. Saturday, my gig got canceled because it's an outdoor venue, and the neighbors to the outdoor venue. Now, the neighbors, the immediate neighbor is a boatyard. It's on the water in Freeport, the venue, in Freeport, Long Island, New York. And the neighbor, the immediate neighbor to the deck where we normally play acoustic music, mind you, were complaining that it was too loud during an afternoon gig, 4 in the afternoon to 8 in the evening. Way too loud acoustic music. So my gig got canceled, which was a real disappointment because it was a great venue. It was a fun place to play. We were looking forward to it. And so that put a damper on my weekend. And we, as you probably experienced, and everybody north of the equator has been experiencing, brutal heat wave. Now, I don't complain about the heat. I love the heat, but it's been causing some havoc. And there is a possibility that we could lose me at any time during this stream. And if that happens, bear with me. I will try to find another way on. But all my equipment is overheating, has been overheating, which is why you may be hearing fans blowing the air conditioning. I got 2 air conditioners running, 2 fans blowing directly on all the heated equipment. So we've been having random shutdowns, which is not fun, and it's causing anxiety. Causing me anxiety all weekend. Am I going to be able to get through the week here? Also, I fucked up. Yes, I did. I fucked up. Basically, been having so much fun with different co-hosts and people on lately that I hadn't booked anything for this week or next week. We're booked up pretty much into August and some into September, but not a whole lot was taken care of for this week and next week. So I had to scramble pretty strongly. No, Kevin is in the chat room saying need a backup generator and central AC. The studio would not be part of the central AC anyway. It's a whole other story. This is a add-on to the original building here, and not connected in any way with the electric or any of that kind of stuff, or any of the ventilation. It wouldn't be part of that anyway. This was here when I moved in, and it was not meant to be a studio. Put it that way. I think it was a garage. Anyway, So that's a situation. I might have if I go out, I might have to pull up a phone or a laptop that runs on battery or something like that temporarily while things cool down. Hoping that's not going to happen, but that added some anxiety. And then going through the schedule and trying to get this weekend, the rest of next week schedule. I do not have a guest today, but I do have a guest co-host, which is Kat. She will be back for the third Monday in a row, starting around 9:30 today. Look forward to talking to her. And may I open the lines to anybody who wants to pop in, ask for a link, and I'll send you a private link where you can join us in the program for a chat. We don't even know what we're going to talk about here today. I should start with the governor stuff. We are on the Governor's Comedy Network. What the hell is I don't the governor's thing is not even up. The governor's badge. There it is, governors. Um, Start with what's happening at Govs this weekend. Why not? Why not do that right now? Governor's main room. You know, here on Long Island, I don't know what it's like where you are, but clubs in general, indoor clubs in general, struggle this time of year because we have a lot of entertainment going on outdoors on beaches and also at parks, parks and recreation, lots of outdoor shows that generally make indoor events really a difficult sell in the middle of summer here. And I think that's what we're going to see. Because if we look at Governor's main room in Levittown on July 26th, kids daytime comedy show for 11 to 16-year-olds at 7:26. I guess that's tomorrow. Interesting. Kids daytime comedy. I wonder if I'm going to look at this a little bit and see. Doors open of arrival at 11 a.m. Lunch is served at 11:30 a.m., followed by a comedy show. Who is a comedy show for kids? Or is it adults doing comedy or is it kids doing comedy? Doesn't say. I'm going to assume it's adults doing comedy for kids. That's got to be a difficult thing. Then July 29th, which is Friday, Knights of Rocco in the Giggle Room. Knights of Rocco. Knights of Rocco Comedy Showcase features an all-star cast of local favorites, a Long Island comedy scene. There are faces to watch out for as they climb the ranks of the comedy world, hosted by James Raniolo. Special guest return of Kevin Brogan, Ashley Rosen, Michelle McDonald. I'm sorry, Michael McDonald. What a fool believes. Jada Allison, Robert Griffo, Gordon Kutcher, Andrew Bergen, headlined by Steve Rocco Perillo. I think I had reached out to Steve at some point to ask him to be on this show. Joe Matarese, who will be on the show at some time. Sometime this week. I was actually thinking he might be here today. I reached out to him over the weekend. He will be on the show in the near future. It will be headlining the main room this weekend, the 29th and 30th. Over in Bohemia at McGuire's, which is part of the Govs Network, on the 28th, which is Thursday, the Great Long Island Laugh Off second round. Then the 29th stand-up showcase and the evening of laughs and special, which is a special event. Doesn't say, but it's got a poster here. But even I can't even blow it up to see who is on the poster. They got to do something about this. Make it easy to see who's on the second stand-up showcase this week. And then lastly, in Belmore at the brokerage, Chris Frangiola is there Thursday night, which is a special event. Chris Frangiola is a writer-comedian who can currently be heard hosting his highly successful podcast, Cover to Cover with Chris Frangiola. Over 1,500 five-star iTunes reviews and top 50 iTunes comedy podcasts. Also a frequent contributor to on Heather McDonald's wildly successful podcast, Juicy Scoop. Chris can currently be seen as a regular panel guest on Lights Out with David Spade on Comedy Central and Fox's hit game show Punchline. So he'll be over at the brokerage Thursday night. They don't have anything listed for the weekend, which is surprising. we'll find out. Maybe they're working on something. We'll check back later in the week. So that's what's going on at Govs. Now, Paul Provenza, who was a guest on the Mind Dog TV podcast, has started the green room again. I'm taking some credit for that. How dare I take some credit for that? I'm taking some credit. Andy wants to not pop me in some anytime. Good morning, hack. Ooh, baby, I'll pop you in anytime. No, you pop in here. I don't want to pop in you. Oh, yes, you're in the wrong chat. There's chats all over the place. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the comment here is kids' daytime comedy, like the troops that used to come into schools and tell you not to do drugs. I don't know. It's a very strange thing, isn't it? I am got me. That's all I can say about that. Is you got me. You got me, babe. The Paul Provenza green room thing. I am taking some credit for that because when Paul was on Mind Dog TV, I gushed about how much I love the green room and suggested he should do that again because a lot of people missed it. It was a great thing for fans of comedy. And then Paul, John Pavaramo asked me to get Paul on his program, and I talked to Paul about getting on John's podcast, Dystopia Tonight. And I said to John, I said, keep pushing this thing about the green room, gush about it, and suggest that he do it again. And he did. And then he was on, I believe, with Jeff Dwoskin, who is also a friend. And Jeff also was talking about the green room and how much he loved it and kind of suggested that he do it again. So here it is. He's doing it again. I have to take some credit for that. Thank you very much. You're welcome very much. It's all my doing. It was a great show, and it is a great show. I did not catch the first episode because I love Paul. Don't get me wrong. He's a terrible promoter. Did you know? Did you know it was starting up again? The Green Room returns, or Return to the Green Room, whatever he's calling it. Did you know about it? Because it was Saturday night. It was a live event, live online and in person, outdoor, under the stars in LA. But very few people I knew. Ooh, listen to my voice getting high. Very few people I knew even knew it was coming back. So got to do a little better help at promoting it. Now I'm going to be promoting it now that I know it's back. I didn't find out about it until Saturday afternoon. I think it was on Saturday night. But I am taking some credit for that. Anyway, lines are going to be open. If anybody wants to pop in, let me know. See, we have some people in the chat room. I'm guessing that people in the chat room are waiting for the fabulous cat. Nobody fills up, talks that. They don't get that chatty when it's just me. They start getting chatty when Cat is around, when Jess is around. Jess should be around. Should be my co-host again on Friday. And the following Friday, and the following Friday, 90% sure. The only issue with that is being in LA and being hot and in demand for a lot of commercial work and stuff like that. She might get a last-minute gig, and if that happens, she'll dump me just like most women would dump me very quickly. Anyway, that's today. New sponsor to tell you about in just 1 second after and it's not coffee. By the way, it's damn good coffee. I'm thinking of starting up my own coffee brand. What the fuck? I gotta watch the F-bombs, don't I? I gotta watch the F-bombs because there are eyes on the program who are looking at whether I can control the F-bomb usage. I don't think I can, to be honest with you. That's why I think I have to hire somebody to control the F-bomb usage. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, thinking about starting my own coffee brand. What the fuck? Here he goes again. What the fuck is with that? Well, I don't know. I get these weird offers all the time about business kind of stuff. And somebody I know who had a local coffee store couldn't make it work, marketing and all that kind of stuff. And asked me if I wanted to buy their business. I was like, you know what? I got a coffee show, a show called Coffee with the Dog. Maybe it makes sense for me in some way. Is there an online presence for it? Turns out there is, and damn good website. Not marketed well, not SEO'd all that well, and the product is really good. So I thought maybe there's something that can be done here. So I'm looking at doing that. I know I always maybe I should stay focused on trying to get the nighttime program solidified and launched, but things come up. Things come up and I get distracted. Like a dog. Like a dog, I'm easily distracted. Anyway, um yeah, so I put out a poll, not a poll the other, well, kind of a poll, but not in the format of a poll. I asked people who they'd like to see on the program. And a lot of people responded with people they know or are already in the works. Tom Kanopka is already in the works. People don't have to say, I want to see Tom Kanopka on the program. People don't have to say, I would like to see Erica Rhodes on the program. Both of those people have open invitations. Both are in the works, and people know that. Hack did say O.J. Simpson. I got on that really quickly. I doubt there's any chance in hell that O.J. Simpson will talk to me, but uh, I would do that. Now, I don't want to. Not like he's listening, but it would be fireworks. It would be quite a interesting. That would be a whole different dog talking to him. I know Carl has been trying to get John Hinckley. I thought about that when Hinckley first came out of prison. And started this band thing. Thought about inviting him on, and I think he is looking for promotion. I wouldn't be promotion with me, and I think he knows that because I give him a hard time all the time. But these kind of guys, these infamous guys, might be fun to talk to. Might cause some hard feelings towards the program, towards me, or whatever, just for getting involved, just for having people on. I would love to talk to O.J. Simpson. Um, it probably would not last long. I was thinking it through. Probably would not last long at all. He'd probably bail within the first couple of minutes pretty easily. Yeah, Jamie says, is he the innocent guy? Yes, he's looking. He always feels like he feels bad in L.A. because he feels like the real killer might be standing right next to him. Uh, your coffee should be arm hair flavor. Wait, where is that? I lost it. Wow, these comments are coming fast and furious now. Arm hair flavor. No, it probably is. It probably is, whether it should be or not. Where the fuck was I? Oh yeah. So guess I should be on. The reason I did this, I don't want to give. I've been told to shut my mouth about a lot of things, and the person who gave me that advice is absolutely right. But I I have friends who have been getting some higher profile guests on their program. I said, well, what are you doing? And a lot of people use these brokers, these celebrity contact brokers to send out mass emails. But there's a form letter. Yeah, usually I would reach out to celebrities and explain who I am, what I do, and why I would like to have them on the program. And 9 out of 10 times, nothing. There's no response at all. No response at all. But somebody gave me a really powerful form letter subject line that gets the emails opened and read and responded to. Now, so far, most of the responses have been, thanks for the offer. maybe in the future, not right now. I'm busy, blah, blah, blah. Some have been no way in hell. Fuck you, drop dead. But I'm getting responses. Some of them are actually positive in that, yes, we will set something up for in the near future. So I'm hiring an assistant to go through these databases of celebrities with this powerful is kind of a dumb way of putting it, a very good way of email form and subject line that's getting my stuff opened and responded to shoot for the moon. Taking a cue from, I don't know what athlete said it, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I'm taking shots at everybody I would like to see, but it occurred to me that I'm going after people that I would like to have on the program, which is not necessarily the people the audience would like to have on the program. And it doesn't have to be comedians. I'm looking at musicians, filmmakers, actors, whatever. Um, but obviously, my tastes run very different than the audience, and I can't expect that there'll be a whole lot. Although I am still going to try to reach out to everybody I am very personally interested in talking to because I want to talk to them. But so I wanted to hear from people. Who should I get? And people thinking small. You know, um, they're thinking small. That's all I don't want. I don't want to insult anybody by saying who might be thinking small. Anyway, that poll is still out there. If you can think of people you would really, 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 really like to see me try to get and fail, I make myself laugh. It's a good thing. I'm like Jerry Diamond. Remember Jerry Diamond from last week? I tell a joke and I shouldn't beat on Jerry too much. But so I'm gonna try. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna try for shoot for the moon. People I really want to talk to, and if there's somebody you really want to hear from, please let me know. Boris Johnson has time to kill. I would love to get Boris Johnson on the program. Imagine that. Uh, I don't know if you guys remember Marion Barry, and I don't really even know that much about Boris Johnson, except that he's like a poor man's Trump. But for some reason, he kind of puts me in a mindset of Marion Barry. Marion Barry was the mayor of Washington, D.C., who got caught uh, in he was smoking crack in a hotel room, buying crack in a hotel room from FBI agent Sting, and it was on tape. And then he wasn't remorseful about it and came out and he was like, the cracking hookers mayor. Um, and I don't even know if Boris Johnson has any of that going on, but he just seemed like he could be that guy who might. Um, anyway, uh, so where was I? Oh, yes, we do have a new sponsor. That's what I wanted to talk about. I get sidetracked. See, this is why I need guests. Kevin says, I wonder if Josh Hawley could run by the show. Did you see Josh Hawley at the Nazi convention in Florida? Nazi convention. It was a Nazi convention. Saying he was saying the Democrats are after him. And I want to let you know, I will not run away from you. This is the day after they showed the video of him running away. What a poor choice of words. What a stupid fucking thing to say. And you got to know that's going to make it onto every soundbite in the world. I will not run away from you. Well, you're on tape running away. Run away. Somebody should put together that thing from Monty Python with the bunny, the killer bunny, and they all say run away. Andy's telling me about Boris, I think. He's got a load of abandoned kids with the feds, like Herschel Walker. Yeah, I just, puts off the vibe like I don't know. He could have a lot of skeletons in his closet, but that would be an interesting politician to talk to. I would talk to more politicians too. I have reached out to some politicians. Now, where was I? Oh, yes, the new sponsor. Well, I have a new sponsor I want to talk about. It's the Daily High Club. Daily High Club. It's dailyhighclub.com. Use the promo code MindDog. Let me tell you, with over 1 million consumption accessories sold and over 15,000 subscribers, Daily High Club is one of the leading online retailers of glass water pipes, vaporizers, and other in-demand consumption accessories. Consumption. That's what they used to call what was it? It wasn't tuberculosis, was it? Yeah, it was. Tuberculosis, I believe, was called the consumption. Anyway, that's not what they're talking about here. They're not selling you tuberculosis, I promise. Other in-demand consumption accessories. They should just call it smoking or getting high accessories. Daily High Club provides a marketplace with a wide variety of high-quality products and subscription boxes. Subscription boxes. Daily High Club has an active social media presence with a numerous influencer and celebrity endorsements like me, including deals with Tommy Chong, Chanel West, Chanel West Coast. I don't know who that is, and more. Daily High Club boasts over 800,000 followers on Instagram and 5,000 followers on TikTok. The company's website has www.dailyhighclub.com offers engaging and fun shopping accessories for people who like to get high. Now, what's in the box, you say? Well, right now, the subscription box, which is full of all sorts of goodies like bongs and essential smoking gear, mind-blowing add-ons, whichever mind-blowing add-ons. I don't know if, putting some really good reefer, that would be mind-blowing. It's normally $100 a month. For right now, if you join with the promo code MINDDOG, MINDDOG, it's $29 a month. DailyHighClub.com. Go there, find out what's in the box. Every month you get a box full of cool new accessories. Right now they have Bite Into Summer box going on. It's a different theme box every month. What's in the Shark Attack Bite Into Summer Daily High Club 14 millimeter Shark Attack Bong Dab Rig, premium 14 millimeter glass bowl, custom Shark Attack inflatable beach ball, assorted mini herb saver grinder, Daily High Club Bic lighter, custom High Club flacker lighter. I don't know, spinning lighter holder. See, I'm out of touch. I don't even know what that means. Raw rolling paper, rolling tips, Element king size rolling papers, raw rolling tips, pro rolling tips. Bonus mystery gift item and custom Daily High Club sticker set. You want your sticker set, right? Stickers are like the big thing. Anyway, speaking of getting high, Daily.
Oh.
Hello.
Good morning. Oh.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another echo? That's weird.
You're echoing cat.
Let's
Meow.
Let's try the earbuds again because they've been giving me trouble.
Trouble?
Trouble, like you. Trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Testing 1 1 2 1
Hold
2
on.
1 2 1 2 1 2
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1.
Is that better?
Yes,
that better?
that's better on this end. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're better too. Yeah, these earbuds have been really annoying. Good morning.
Good morning. How was your weekend?
Great. How was
Great?
yours? Sure.
That was a very unenthusiastic great.
I know it was.
Great.
That's all I can muster. It's Monday.
Mondays suck, I know. Mine sucked.
Already?
Yeah, well, the Punching Man was back. Friday, the Punching Man was back. I did a gig, a private gig for a facility that has lots of people in rehab. It's a rehabilitation facility, but not all from drugs. Not all. It's for everything. It's a multi-purpose. But there's the Punching Man, a man who shows his appreciation by punching me in the back. He starts by punching the air, and then he gets his wheelchair behind me while I'm singing, and he starts punching me. in the back, kidney punches, and he hit me with a
Why?
few that's how he shows he's damaged. And now I'm
Okay.
damaged because of it.
Okay.
This is my third gig with him. And the first, he was just punching me in the middle of the back, and I asked somebody to stop him, and they said, no, he's showing you his love, and I let it happen for an hour. And then the last gig, he was just out in front of me punching the air, and I thought, okay, we reached a good place. But Friday night, he came back, and he was punching me. He got me a few kidney punches, and I'm telling you, I was like, if you ever been punched in the kidney, it's not... That's why it's outlawed in boxing, because it really is painful, and it doubles you over, and you can't stand upright. But they don't stop them.
I can't even fathom that. More than once. He hit you more than once, and nobody there stopped him. No one tried to stop him?
Well, he was like, no, because he's like 90 years old.
Okay.
And listen, 90 years old, you would think his punches don't hurt, but if he gets you in the right spot, see, that's why the first time it wasn't really a big thing, because if he's punching and he's just hitting you in the arm or in the back,
Right.
it's like no big deal. It's like a little kid. But when he hits you in the kidney and and you're trying to sing in pain,
I don't think that's the way the world is supposed to work. I don't think you're supposed to go places to sing and someone punches you. I don't think it's supposed to work that way.
Yeah, everything has gotten so bad
Wow.
in the post-pandemic performance.
Okay. I
So-
guess.
Yeah, so, and because every time I go in there now, I have to take a COVID test.
Mm.
And that's the 2 swabs up each side of your nose there, and I have a deviated septum, and
Okay.
if you touch my nose in the wrong way, it could trigger an hour-long sneezing fit that is uncontrollable. And when I sneeze, it's loud. It's like I don't know if you remember Peter Potamus, the cartoon Peter Potamus, the hippo hurricane holler. He had a big balloon, him and So-So, and
Okay.
hippo hurricane holler would make the balloon travel with. That's what I'm like when I'm sneezing. I mean, every sneeze is like that. It's like shakes the house. So that could trigger that. It did not on Friday, but that's always a concern. I have like tremendous anxiety. Like, you do my nose the wrong way, just a little bit, and I'm fucked for the next hour. I'm like, you might as well take me to the hospital now. So
your friend Ralph, he disagrees with your diagnosis of a deviated septum. I don't know if you saw. He thinks he thinks you have a deviated rectum.
I do. Well, that too. Like, you could have both.
I guess. I'm sorry to hear that if you do have both.
Well, he should know.
He made it that way.
he should know, because on my birthday, he came to the gig. We were doing an outdoor gig. He came to give me some weed. Mm-hmm. Wow, I can't believe I call it grass. Reefer, pot, grass. And I'm on stage, and he gets up behind me, and he thinks he's shoving it in my pocket. But he put his hand down the back of my pants. And at the end of the gig, he went home, and I was like, "Where'd you put that weed?" He goes, "I shoved it in your pocket." I was like, "It's not there." And I was looking all over the place. I had the band, like maybe it fell out of my pocket during the gig. And going back over the videotape and all that stuff. And when I got home, I took my underwear off. The bag fell out. He's like, "I had my finger, I'm shoving it deep in there." I was like, "That wasn't my pocket, dude." So he should know about my deviated rectum.
I see. Good one.
He's responsible for it. So Saturday night.
Yes.
I got canceled because an acoustic gig, because the neighbors thought it was too loud. Now, the immediate neighbor next door is a boatyard. Mm-hmm. And we play out on a deck. And again, it's acoustic music, me and Kiera. And it's like, how loud how loud an acoustic guitar is?
Not loud, yeah.
Yeah.
Not too loud.
The neighbors put together a petition and made the guy go to court and basically cancel all the gigs for the rest of the summer because acoustic music is too loud. They have a boatyard next door. I mean, the boats make enough noise.
Right. Is it on a canal like the other
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Freeport. But not the main, not the nautical mile. It's on Main Street, which is a whole different canal. And there's businesses there. Like it's next to Margarita's Cafe and the boatyard, and so there's lots of businesses there. I don't know. It's a bummer when people have to be so stick up their ass. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sorry. You can't
Yeah.
play indoors. They don't take you indoors there, or there's no indoors.
Not this time of year. I mean, because nobody wants to be indoors. I was kind of mentioning that with the comedy clubs. I can't imagine comedy clubs doing well right now here. You know, Long Island. I don't have to tell you, but for people out in the world there, Long Island this time of year is parks and beaches and all sorts of outdoor cafes and all that stuff. Nobody wants to
Right.
be indoors when it's 95 degrees and 90% humidity. Even in the best of air conditioning systems, you want to be outside. So comedy clubs, they got to be hurting. I mean, I can't imagine going to a comedy club this time of year and wanting to sit indoor. I like to laugh as much as anybody, but I'm not done complaining yet with my weekend.
Oh no, please. Wait, am I correct that you don't even have a guest? So this is just
That's
gonna be
right.
us?
That's right. Friday evening, I realized I've been having so much fun that I haven't paid attention to these last 2 weeks of July as far as guests and guest co-hosts and all that stuff. And I was like, holy shit, the calendar's empty for next week, except for tonight's show and Wednesday night show. And so I was like, oh shit, now I gotta hustle. I gotta try to find guests and do it on a short-term basis. Like nobody wants it. Hey, can you be on Monday morning? You're gracious enough to do that. I don't know any. Like if I reached out to a comedian for today on Friday night, can you do Monday morning show? Why don't you have a guest? I'm just replacing somebody, aren't I? Like nobody wants to feel like they're a replacement. So that's difficult, which is why I don't have a guest today. But I have guests the rest of the week and next week. And then because I reached out to everybody to fill up the calendar. Now people are like picking dates into December and stuff. And so I'm like doing in this administrative hell now. I don't have a gig because I got too loud, canceled for being too loud. And now I got to work behind the computer all weekend long for putting people in these dates and going back and forth. Oh, that date's taken care. Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare.
It sounds like admin work. You don't like that kind of stuff. Like
No, I don't. I
administrative
hate
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
Nobody gets into anything show business related to do actual work, marketing or booking or administrative stuff, any of that stuff. Nobody does that. I mean, you do it because you don't want a job.
Right. Well, that's why you need a team. You need people who don't want to be in front of the camera that want to, do that stuff for you.
I do need a team. And then, so I put it out. I have a calendar, an online calendar, and I say, here, look at the calendar, pick for the morning shows, Monday to Thursday, guests come on at 10 o'clock, and pick a date, and people come back. Can I have Saturday, July 30th? No, Monday to Thursday. How about Friday, the 29th? No. What time? Like, and back and forth, and then the calendar's there, and they pick days that are obviously already taken on the calendar, and I got to go back. No, that date's taken. Oh, I don't know how this works. Can you help me out? And I put that there so I wouldn't have to help you out. This is supposed to be automated to make things easy. I don't want to do this. I'm firing myself. I quit.
Don't do it. Don't do it. You won't get severance.
Right. So yesterday I tried to put out a poll on Twitter, and I fucked it up big time. The poll was supposed to say, should I quit? And the choices were yes, of course, why not? But the question ended up being yes. So people don't know what it said. Yes, why not? This is
so. But what did everyone decide?
Everybody decided why not, because they don't know what the question is. What? So if I just say yes, and the choices are why not, yes, of course, everybody why not. You can't go wrong with the why not.
I know, but you can still say no to yes. That shows that people are pretty open to things.
But there was
Twitter, right?
no option. because I felt like I wanted to quit yesterday.
Hmm.
And I wanted verification and validation for my wanting to quit. So I put out a poll where all the choices were yes, quit. You should quit. You have no reason to go on.
Let's figure out why you should quit. Let's figure that out now. What are the worst things about this job?
That stuff, the administrative stuff, is and the rejection letters aren't as bad as the crickets. And so lately, I've been getting responses from people, and they're not total rejections. For the most part, they're like, "Not right now. I'm busy. We can do something in the future. Get back to me." I have had a couple of really harsh rejections from people, and but at least they're not ignoring me anymore, because I don't that ignoring that bothers me. Like you reach out, at least I deserve a no or anything.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind next week when you ask me.
Okay. Yeah. No, you would say no, wouldn't you?
I would say no. If I was busy this morning, I would have said no.
Yeah.
But I'm not busy, and I obviously make bad choices in life, so I'm here.
Obviously. What would you be doing right now if not here? You would be waking up right now, and you'd be probably looking at Twitter. Yeah, it's about. You'd probably be in the chat room by now, just stopping by, saying what's going on.
Yes, I might be. By 9:41, I would be.
You
but
would.
This morning, I woke up at 7:30. That was early for me.
Wow.
I know.
Because you're excited about greeting your audience. Because all these people that are here for you. They're not here for me.
Oh, hello, Carl. Hello, Jamie. Hello, Beth. Oh, that's all I see. That's all I see. Scrolly. Dean. Oh, this is like Romper Room. I see Kevin and Husky Boyo and this is boring.
Yeah, there's a lot of people there.
That's a lot of people. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah.
No, you know what I started to realize yesterday when you asked me that by me doing this every Monday, it's giving me a little bit of that Sunday night, you're going to take this the wrong way, but dread. Because when I used to have a 9-to-5 job, Sunday night was stressful because you knew that you were going to face the week. And so it's giving me a little piece of that. And I'm not sure if that's good or bad, that I have something to wake up for that I'm excited for, but also a little bit like, oh God, what if I screw it up? So it's kind of good. I like the Mondays.
You can't screw up. There's no screwing up.
Oh, I don't know. Give me a chance.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
I don't know. We should try to figure that out and then do it, because then when you quit, that'll be the way to go, right?
Well, what's the worst that could happen? Because more of my complaints. It's always got to be about my complaints. This is the Complaining Dog Show.
Look, people love complaints. I love problems. Let's solve problems today.
You can't solve this one.
Today.
Mine is an overheating of equipment problem, because I have so much equipment in this room that all the air conditioning, all the fans blowing on stuff can't possibly keep stuff cool enough. So this computer, the main computer that I broadcast from, had been just shutting down on its own to avoid a heat burnout, which would suck. But I had to create backup systems to get back online pretty quick if that happened. But that anxiety, that's the dread that you had last night about just waking up Sunday morning. I'm thinking, what if it doesn't make it through the show and I have to do this thing? Can I get back on the phone in a hurry, or I have a Chromebook that might work, and all that kind of stuff. It's just
we would disappoint tens of people.
Tens. Yeah.
I'm just counting the chat room. I'm sure there's more.
Oh yeah, yes. There are a lot more, and a lot of hate mail that I got last week. I wanted to read. I forgot. I wanted to do this morning. Read some of the hate mail and put together a list of pertinent hate mail that I got from last week's show. Things that I said that pissed people off.
I like that.
Last night in Wading River. Wading River is a pretty upscale, very white town in the suburbs here. And I was at a convenience store, and I got recognized. Hey, it's Mr. Liberal Radio Guy. I said, What? He said, you're a communist. I am? What makes you think I'm a communist? He said, well, abortion. Abortion makes you think I'm a communist? He goes, you love abortion. I was like, What? What? Nobody loves abortion.
Oh my God.
Even a woman who is desperate to end her pregnancy doesn't love abortion. She's glad it's there as a choice, but nobody. Listen, it's not a party any way you look at it. Nobody loves abortion. But I said, you got me. You don't listen, because I've said several times, I'm against abortion, but I think I'm pro-choice, and since I'm not going to be pregnant, I'm against the law telling a woman that she can't make that choice. A woman should have the right to make that choice for herself. I would love to see the end of unwanted pregnancies. That's where I go. And he was looking at me. He said, "Well, abortion is communist." Do you even know what these words mean, dude?
No, he doesn't know what those mean. He doesn't. I guarantee you, he does not know what any of those mean.
And so I tried to explain to him. I said, communists want more people. They need more workers. Right. So they would be against abortion. They would be the ones wanting, like the Republican Party does, to force women to carry the full term so that they could put them to work for the state. And he just looked at me like with a face full of zeros while I was checking out, and at that point, and he was just looking at me like I could see, like, it was kind of registering to me, like, maybe you're the communist. It's like couldn't figure it out. So anyway, it's good to get recognized.
I was gonna say, you got recognized. That's still good.
Yeah. Well, but and then get attacked for being recognized. But you always have the option, not listening.
Well, yeah,
it's not that hard.
No, you're right. You're right. It's free for the most part. Just costing you your time and your ears. Shut it off if you don't like it. Why do you have to complain to the person delivering the free entertainment that it is? Why? Why does anyone complain about free stuff? I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
And how he actually finds me. I would have loved to have that conversation. Like, how did you find the show? Where do you watch? Are you on YouTube, on Facebook, on your Roku? Where the fuck are you seeing me? But just to totally, and this happens all the time with the hate mail I get, is that people misinterpret what I'm saying, or just have how could you get that out of what I'm saying? The Dave Chappelle thing is a big part of the hate mail I got from last week. People saying, thinking that I'm pro censorship, or and I don't know how people get that. I'm saying, first of all, that I don't think Dave Chappelle is truly a hateful person. I think he's not articulating his case very well. And in his case, I'm not going to make it for him, because I'll probably articulate it worse. But I think the problem is, every time he tries to articulate his case further, it just gets him deeper in a hole with the people who think he's a hater and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know where you get that I'm pro censorship. I am pro any business should have the right to say, I don't want to hire that person because I don't. So if you think Dave Chappelle is a hater, the comedy club that canceled him on short notice last week, they have a right to do that, and they did it. And he has a right to sue for breach of contract or whatever, and all that kind of stuff. But if you're pro free market and pro choice, not just in abortion, pro-choice, people make choices, they make decisions, and they have the right to run their lives, their businesses, how they want. I don't know, but hate, man, I got probably, no exaggeration, 50 or 60 hate mails about what I said about Chappelle last week.
Wow, that's impressive. I'm impressed with this amount of hate mail. That means they cared enough to engage, to type in their little things. Like, they maybe you can convert them. Maybe they want you to hear what they have to say, and then
but they want to be guests.
Them.
I understand this, because I understand watching, when you're like watching television or watching a podcast that does not have an active chat room in it, and somebody says something, you just like, man, isn't somebody going to correct this, or anybody going to state my opinion here? Somebody's got a voice. And when that doesn't happen, you get frustrated. And that's what these people want. They want me to hear their side of the story. They want to be kind of a pseudo guest, at least in their own text version of it.
But you do address at least when I've been here, you do address your chat, and you have your phone number is so public, people could reach out to you, but this is what happens. Then you get good and bad. So
I get
what
text
about
messages.
good things? Have you gotten any good messages?
Oh yeah, but the good messages are just not, they're fluff. Great job, love your show. Thanks. What did you like about it? Jess is the only one before she was a guest on the program, before she was a guest co-host. She would write very long, not very long, a paragraph or two about videos that she saw, expressing her opinions and ideas and comebacks with it. Not necessarily negative or positive, just giving her thoughts on what she heard. And I appreciate that, because it makes you think and gives you some food for thought. But
Right.
I don't know.
But she's probably a rarity, and if I'm correct, she's been on YouTube for a long time. She knows her stuff, and so she's going to give you feedback. That's the person you want giving you feedback on videos, not some schmuck in the bagel store, I think.
What is Jamie saying? Andrew Schultz has had a special pull from some platform because he was told it was based on the Chappelle backlash. That's really weird.
Because he openly supported Chappelle, and then someone pulled his show. Is that the deal?
That's what it sounds like. Yes. Well, the reason that I got involved in it last week was because Derek Sheen was on, and Derek was a friend of Patton Oswalt. He tours with Patton Oswalt. He's his opening act almost every place he goes. And he was there at Ground Zero the night that Chappelle asked Patton Oswalt to come and do a guest set. Oswalt did, and then faced a lot of backlash from his people because a lot of his people are trans or in that community.
Right.
So he faced a lot of backlash from it, and then made it worse by writing a long apology letter trying to explain his friendship with Dave Chappelle, where he should have just said, fuck you, he's my friend, I did what I do. You do what you do.
These guys, Carl, he did not, first of all, Patton Oswalt did not kill his wife. Pills killed his wife, Carl. Do you see him? But I was going to say, he's beholden to something. He's got a boss on some level. It's either the comedy club that booked him or it's the person putting out his special. And so those guys apologized, and because they're trying to save face. But do you think they really, really feel bad about it? I don't. I think it's all an act. It's all just let's posture, and apologize to whoever's in our face now. And I think that's not the best way to be, but I think we all do it.
I don't.
You try it. You don't.
No, this is why a lot of people find, it became very in vogue to claim Asperger's as an excuse for being an antisocial dick.
Right.
And so people have ascribed that to me, Asperger's, my wife especially. My wife was the first one and she's not a doctor. She diagnosed me as having Asperger's 10 years ago when it became in vogue. But basically, I come out now and I just say, listen, the real diagnosis here is dick. I'm a dick. I've always been a dick. I'll always be a dick. I'm sorry, that's who I am.
I think your diagnosis is closer to the truth than your wife's. I mean,
thank you.
Just because you seem very blunt and very New York, but you don't have any not that Asperger's is odd, but you don't have any traits to me that scream that. You just seem like you speak your mind, and nobody likes that when it's directed towards them. It's good when you're on someone's side and defending them, but then as soon as you're flipping that on them, then you're just a dick.
Right, but I am socially very awkward and don't pick up on a lot of cues about how to react in polite society. I'll give you an example. Last week, my stepdaughter was having some trouble with her husband, and I used the word. I said, you got to cut out all the drama. And that really made her, young girls don't like to hear they're being called a drama queen. And she wrote back to me, I knew you wouldn't understand. And my wife said, see, it doesn't register. That word, you can say things, but when you say drama to a girl in her late 20s or 30s, you're looking for trouble. I was like, I'm just telling it like it is. It's drama to me, and I don't need the drama.
Right.
And so that kind of stuff, that's a good example of how I am in my life. I don't care how you react to the words I say. I'm going to tell you exactly how I truly feel about what you're saying. And sometimes it might hurt, and sometimes it might piss you off, and all that kind of stuff. But I can't live my life worrying about how you're going to react to the words I say. I'm going to tell you how it's making me feel right now, and cut out the fucking drama.
Yep. Let's look that up. That says you're a dick. Yeah, you're a dick.
I'm a
That's
dick.
correct.
I know. But at least I know I'm a dick. There's a lot of people walking around who have no idea that they're a dick. They have exactly what I have, but not the sensibility to know. People think
Well,
you're a
right.
dick.
You have the introspection now to realize that maybe your words are a bit dickish.
I've always known. I've always known I was a dick. But yes, it requires introspection. But I've always known it on some level. I know because people don't. People can hide it in words, but they can't hide their body language in their reaction to you. Or in a texting world, it becomes a little more difficult to necessarily know that you've crossed a line with somebody. But in the old world though, that I come from, in the world that you came from, where you're one-on-one with people and you see their reaction, they don't hide that you just made them angry or you hurt them very well.
Right.
Even if they say, "Oh, I get it,"
Right.
no, you don't. You hate me. I know.
We're all just meatbags with feelings. It's not our fault. We're trying. We're trying our best. I don't know.
I think this is Don Sill in stand-up comedian Joe Waters. I thought it was because stand up and shut up or something is Don Sill's. Jamie, you're trying to hurt me. What? Funny though, my favorite comedians. Nobody's trying to censor them. I don't get this. I don't know. I never know what's going on in the chat room. Out of context sometimes. I see stuff and I don't know what's going on over there. Anyway, as far, because you're a big comedy fan, do you don't go to comedy shows this time of year, though? Or in New York City, are you going to any indoor shows or are you doing anything like that?
I might go to one tonight if there's an extra ticket for it, but I haven't. The last one I saw in New York City, it couldn't have been Doug with you, maybe?
That was in April, right? Was it
I
April?
know.
I think it was April. Yeah, April 7th.
Trying to think.
That's
Yeah,
a
you're
long
right.
time.
But I think that's a combination, not just the summertime. I think it's a combination of COVID kind of got me out of the habit of going to comedy clubs and concerts. Like I haven't been to a lot of concerts either. So I don't know if I would blame the weather, but when I think back on it, yeah, I guess I go in the winter. A lot of my comedy shows are when it's colder and you want to be indoors and drinking and laughing.
What are the streets like in New York City? Are they crowded like this time of year, or are people out way in the Hamptons and all that stuff? Do you see it less crowded in the streets? Or you're staying indoors, right?
Well, I walk from here to the park usually. I either go to the river, I go to the park, and there's definitely more tourism in the park, and there's definitely more commuters walking around on the street. But I am not going to train stations or anything. I'm not taking the subway, so I don't know if I don't think those are back in full force at all. I think a lot of people are still working from home because there are a lot of businesses closed down that used to support all the office buildings. There was a ton of restaurants, delis, you name it, and a lot of those places have closed what looks like permanently. But you can go anywhere, do anything. It's not as empty as it was.
Yeah.
But I feel funny saying I'm a comedy fan. I haven't gone anywhere, but can I call myself a comedy fan if I'm not going? I think so. I mean, you can get it through TV, you can get it through YouTube, and there's a lot of specials.
You know who's not a comedy fan? People who don't know who Bill Burr is. Sorry, folks.
Right.
'Cause I ran into a lot of that. And it's not just Bill Burr, but I picked him out because he's one of the top echelon. He's one of the top 10 on anybody's list, I would think, if anybody who follows comedy. And for somebody to not know who he is, it's like somebody who doesn't know Dave Chappelle. Wow, you can't be a comedy fan.
I mean, Dave Chappelle had a TV show when there was still cable television, when that was popular. I feel like there's less of an excuse to not know who Chappelle is, even though Bill Burr was on a couple episodes of that with him.
Yeah, and he was on. Wasn't he on Breaking Bad? And he was on a lot of stuff, and he's been in movies, and yeah. And I'm not I'm not here to promote Bill Burr.
No, I think he's funny. I saw him live at a it wasn't a stand-up show. It was like a live podcast taping, and so he basically sat up in front of the room. It was in Phoenix, and he did basically his Monday morning podcast, but he did it to an audience. And some guy that was sitting at the table with us after 10 minutes was like, "You used to be funny," and he got up and he left. And it was the weirdest thing. I was like, "Man, you came here. You didn't know what you were buying a ticket for? Are you serious?" And
how does somebody lose their funny? I don't think you can lose.
I don't think you can lose your funny. I think it's context. I think if you're going to see someone do a podcast, it's not going to be joke. It's going to be, this is my life. I'm going to tell you a funny anecdote. That's what a podcast is. That's what a conversation is. And I think this guy was expecting material or something, even though it was advertised as a podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know. People
live
are dumb.
Podcasts.
Sorry. Yeah.
I love those. I love live podcasts when they do them in front of a studio audience. But it's
That's exactly
a different dynamic than, say, like a Rogan thing where he's sitting in a small room one-on-one with people. Every podcast is different. There is no, not like the talk show thing on television where they just kind of figured out this is the daytime format, and it's Ellen and Oprah and all that stuff is the same kind of format in the daytime. And then, it's weird because they had different daytime formats. You had the Maury Povich, Jerry Springer early daytime where it was like a controversial, everybody fighting type thing. Then you had the Oprah and Ellen basically sit down love fest on a couch type of thing. And then the nighttime format is a guy behind a desk bringing out a guest for 8-minute segments and musical guests and all that stuff. They're all formatted. In podcasting, there are a lot of comedians who just want to hang out and get drunk with their friends and bullshit, and that's one format, but that's not the only. There's tons of different formats.
Right. There are informative podcasts. There are question and answer podcasts. There are not just chit-chat podcasts. But when you're just standing in front of a microphone on your own, it's a diary. There's no one with you. It's a podcast, but it's like your diary, basically, I think.
Wow, Joe is old. Joe is old.
You know what, Joe Walters? I was going to say Donahue. I didn't want to interrupt, but he had all of those things because he would have serious guests. I went to see him once, actually. And you know what? I still remember what they talked about. So my episode of Donahue, I got really lucky. They had a guy on who was going to have his head removed and cryogenically frozen. And he went on Donahue to explain how this was going to work. And people were asking questions like, and my question was, why would you take your head off? Like, why wouldn't you just freeze the whole body? And his answer was, well, because they'll have technology by then to deal with it. And I wanted to follow up with, but why would you take off the part of your, like, why would you have to expect the technology is going to be so great by the time they thaw you out that you're going to get a replacement body? It made no sense to me, but it was a great episode.
Yeah.
it was a great one.
I wonder if that guy went home thinking, I should have thought that through.
Yeah, I should have thought that through. But what I think it was, I think they said maybe the head was $30,000 and the full body was $100,000, so he went with the cheaper option or something. But he was serious about it. He was real serious.
I don't think so, Joe. I think that was a rumor. Ted Williams did it. There was also the rumor that Walt Disney did it. I don't think
that came up. That came up during the thing. I don't think he actually followed through on it. I don't think Disney is in a tank somewhere. I don't.
Yeah, if I lived in New York City, I would have been doing that all the time. I used to do, because they were free, right? Those basically you just stand online and get in.
Yeah, we mailed away. I think someone mailed away for tickets. I saw Sally Jesse Raphael once. That was weird. I never saw Oprah.
Wasn't that just Phil and drag?
You know what? Her glasses were like these remember that like iconic, like real giant red glasses? All I really remember about her is her glasses and that her musical guest took way too long to tune up. It was, I don't remember what her episode was about at all.
Yeah, remember that Wow, that there was a period during, I guess, the 80s or early 90s. I think it was probably late 80s, where
Right.
there were just a ton of these Donahue wannabes that came along.
Oh,
Like,
yes. And I saw that Joan Rivers had one. I saw her too. I forgot.
who was the
Her.
one that got in trouble? Paul or something? No. I could see her face. Jenny
Jenny Jones.
Jones. Yeah, she
She was
got in
blonde.
trouble for some. I'm gonna look it up. Jenny Jones
Yeah.
controversy. I think some guy on there. I don't want to misstate it. Jenny Jones controversy, but she definitely got. She got sued.
Mm.
I can't even spell controversy. Jonathan Schmitz on the Jenny Jones show controversy. Here it is. What happened to Jenny Jones? The Jenny Jones controversy. On March 6, 1995, so it was the 90s, Jenny Jones taped an episode called Same-Sex Secret Crushes. Oh, it was a gay guy who had a crush on one of his
Right.
friends, and he came
Right.
out and
And
did
then,
it.
right.
Yeah.
But then didn't the guy kill himself?
Yeah.
Was that? Yeah,
Yep.
the guy, because he was so
Yes.
embarrassed that he killed him. So I think that was probably towards the end of that phase. Then the if they're starting to sue people, then they stop doing those shows and they switch to lighter entertainment. But Jerry
Wow.
Springer was a bit faked, right? I mean, that wasn't like real, was it? You know, the
Yep.
drama, the it seemed so manufactured. I just can't imagine that it was real.
I think it was real. I think
Maybe it started real and then it got a little more.
well, yeah, this is what happened. I think
Yeah.
all of those shows, the audience saw that once, and so they started lining up these people who just were looking for that kind of stuff, and then
Right.
there would be security, but let them fight a little bit. That makes for good TV. People tune
Right.
into that stuff, and they caught on to that. The first one that I remember was Mort Downey Jr. You remember Morton Downey?
Yeah, the big mouth thing
Big mouth.
behind him too. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he would yell at his guests. He would yell at the audience. He was so surly. That was
He was
its
a weird
own
dude.
thing. Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
a very weird
was.
fucking guy. Because he came up his pablum puking liberal was his favorite phrase. You're a pablum puking liberal. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I got to look that up. Pablum puking. But he grew up on Martha's Vineyard, best friends with Teddy Kennedy.
Really?
Yeah. And so all that stuff about being a right winger was kind of an act, because he was definitely part of the Kennedy clan and all that stuff. His father was Joe Kennedy's friend. His father was an Irish singer, the original Morton Downey, and kind of famous in those circles. And he wanted to be a rock star. And he had a couple of hits in the 50s, believe it or not, Morton Downey Jr., before he was like a Pat Boone type of guy, and then went away. And then later on radio, got noticed for being like a first shock jock type of guy, and got that show. And
Yeah.
but that was just total screaming. That was just everybody screaming at each other, like nothing making sense ever. People getting in their faces, pointing fingers in each other's faces.
Yeah, that was pure drama. That one. I
Yeah.
forgot about that one. Wow. God.
And then the one where Geraldo got punched in the face and got his nose broken.
With the chair? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good.
A lot of those were. Who's this? It's somebody wanting to get me a new warranty or talk to me about my warranty.
And you didn't pick up? How are you going to get your car warranty remedied? You have to pick up every one of those calls.
I will. If they call back again, I will. But basically, I tell them I don't have a car.
I don't either, but I don't answer the phone. God, you're
You
crazy
will?
for answering the phone. What? I will? You're going to buy me a car? Is that what I just heard? That's what I heard. Yeah. All right. So now that I'm more awake, so this is my third. This is my third visit as co-host.
Right.
How many visits until we become common law co-hosts? 7? We got to cap it before 7. I can't have a common law relationship here.
Okay. All right. I think it has to be consecutive, 7 consecutive. So if we take a week off, it would be cool.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I don't think
I'm
they
good
have
then.
common law in New York State anymore, because I lived with a woman for over 10 years. I thought common law used to be 7, and that was the same, meant you were kind of married by common.
Right.
And I lived with her definitely longer than that. I hope that doesn't mean we were married at all. I'm not even
But then,
sure I'm married now. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
no, I want to know why you think you're not married now. Did you get married by just some bum off the street and not a
Yes.
Oh, good guess. All right.
My wife wanted to get married by a preacher.
Mm.
I knew a guy. I knew a guy who had a church in a factory, like an old warehouse building. Like they had an old abandoned strip mall, and he just rented out space there, and he was having church there. I said, my wife wants to get married by a preacher. Would you do it? And he sure. I played with his band a couple of times, and so he was scheduled to do it. But he was a Cincinnati Bengals fan, and the Cincinnati Bengals were playing the Giants this Sunday. It was September 21st, 2008. Cincinnati Bengals playing the Giants at Giant Stadium in New Jersey, and the game went late. And then we were supposed to be getting married as the sun went down on our beach right behind the house here. And he said, I'm caught in traffic. I'm still in Jersey. I'm not going to make it there in time. But I'm sending Danny. Danny was an intern at his church who was from Connecticut, who was 18 years old, had a bone in his nose, literally a bone in his nose.
What?
Total gothed out.
Okay.
Wasn't even sure he was into Jesus, but just was checking out the church a little bit. So he said, I'm sending him to marry you. Like, does this kid even know what he's doing? Does he have it? So he came, and he didn't know what he was doing. I had to tell him exactly what to do. I'm like telling him where to stand, telling him what to read out of the book, and all this stuff. And then he pronounced this man and wife. I was like, this kid doesn't have any fucking authority to do this. But apparently my wife has checked and we are legally married. But it just felt like this guy could have been a hobo. I could have just went and picked up a guy out of the gutter, a wino, said, "Can you read? Okay,
Right.
Come with me." You're gonna say I'm now pronouncing man and wife. Okay, that's what it was.
This says a lot to me about the sanctity of marriage and what it all means and how sacred it is. Clearly, that you
What
can
is
have
this?
any
I'm
guy
going
off
on-
the street.
I'm going on 14. This will be my 14th anniversary this September. So,
Oh.
with like a year off for bad behavior, but it wasn't really a year off. It was really about 6 hours off. Because when we got separated, I went and got a house, and my wife was at that house that night cleaning it to make sure we're separated. I just rented a house, and she's over there cleaning it to make sure it's livable and not just like some dirty bachelor pads. And
She
then
wanted to make sure you stayed out, and you fucked it up somehow, and you're back together.
well, she moved it. Basically, she was there every night. So our separation was really like a courtship that we should have had longer, because we got I basically got planned on getting married 6 days after we met.
Oh,
Because
wow.
yeah, well,
Because
at
of your
that
dad?
time-
Is this the thing with your dad?
no.
Oh, okay.
I told that
That's
story
a different.
before, right?
That's a different wife.
Yeah, that was my
Oh my God.
young wife from my first marriage. I didn't think I thought I would. Remember, I thought I would be dead by 54.
Right.
So I'm 48, going on 49, and I met my wife, and she knocked me out. She definitely knocked me out, and I was infatuated, in love, but that early romance stuff. And then she sprung it on to me that she was losing her house and was going to have to move to North Carolina. And I said, well, I'll take over the house. What if because I was living in a cabin in the woods by myself at the time. And I thought, sure, I'll take care of your house. And so I said, you know what? And, but she's like, I got a kid, my stepdaughter and my stepson. I says, well, we'll get married. I'm like, what the fuck doesn't matter to me? I'm going to be dead in 6 years anyway. So I wasn't expecting to live this long. And then I said, yeah, I'll get married. And so I did. I never thought I would get married again. After my divorce when I was a young man, I said to myself, I'd never get married again. But then I figured, you know what? If I'm dead, it would be good to say, yeah, you left behind a wife and stepchildren. I was really planning on being dead. I didn't think I'd still be here now. So we never had, the point I was making there stupid me, was that we never had a real courtship. So that after 4 years of being married, we got separated. And that was like our dating period. She was at my house every night where it was sex, and she was cooking for me and cleaning. And it's
Right.
like, what? And then, it was cool. It was like she was my girlfriend.
Nice. You did it in a weird order, but you stuck with it.
Very weird order, right?
It's not that normal, but that's okay.
Can I probe?
You can try.
I could try. How long have you and Steve been together?
22 years.
So you're common law. Have you been living 22 years?
If there's a common law, we've been living together for 19 years.
All in Manhattan?
No. We first moved in together in Queens. There's a part of Queens that's sort of like it's by Flushing. It's like it's a little more suburban than it is city, and so we moved there for about a year, and then we moved into Woodside, Queens, which is a little more like apartment living, and then Manhattan. So we've been in 3 different places.
Have you been back to the original neighborhood that was not so city? Because I think by now, it is, because even the places on Long Island that were very suburban are starting to feel like Brooklyn and Queens used to feel like in the 80s and stuff. So
we rode through on a train a couple of weeks ago, and I kind of peeked out. There's still a lot of houses in that area, but there were some apartment buildings too that sprung up out of nowhere. There's a lot of apartment buildings that have sprung up along the Long Island Railroad like that, those. I don't know if you've seen them. You don't take the train, but you live over there. They just suddenly put up a huge apartment building in the parking lot of the Long Island Railroad, and I guess because they're trying to get people out there. Is that your warranty again? Anyway,
hello.
That's so.
I think this is hello. Oh, you hung up on me. I thought it was going to be the car warranty person. They were calling back. Fuck.
But what were we probing? I don't.
We were probing, the Long Island Railroad and all those apartments and Copeg. Yeah, I don't know if Seaford. You probably heard of Copeg at some point.
Yeah.
There's a town I grew up in, and they would never look like Queens or Brooklyn. But I went through there a couple of weeks ago when I was driving Ralphie home from the day we went to Jackie Martlin's, and the railroad, like you said, both sides of the railroad now have these apartment buildings that go up 8, 9, 10 floors, or 10 floors in a building or something. It's like, wow, it just became a city here. It was always like small towns. Every town along the way, the entire Long Island Railroad now is filled with those Woodside-looking apartments.
Yeah. There was one in Lindenhurst too. The same thing. And the last time we had taken the train to Lindenhurst was 3 years prior, so it sprung up sometime in the past 3 years, but. I guess they're just trying to make affordable housing near the train.
It's not affordable, though.
No, I'm sure it's not.
Kiara said she looked into those, and they were like $3,000 a month. That's not affordable. That's not for young people.
But how many rooms are you getting for that? I mean, it's got to be more than Manhattan. You get a nice big studio or 1 bedroom for $3,000. You've got to be getting multiple bedrooms on Long Island, right? For that
Probably.
much, 2 or 3 bedrooms.
Probably 2. I would think 2.
Maybe 2.
3s are
still a lot.
You don't see many 3-bedroom apartments, but. Yeah, so I don't know how young people can even have a life in New York anymore. I know New York City was always a tough place to start a life, but Long Island was never like it is now. I mean, Wading River, the place I was last night, the houses there. You won't find a house under $1 million out there at all. It's like, how can young people? And not that Wading River represents all of Long Island, but how can young people even plan on starting a life? There's no such thing as a starter house for $100,000 anymore.
No, not anymore.
On Long Island. None of it.
No.
So no wonder people are leaving for parts like Florida, Texas, wherever, North Carolina, all those places. Florida, I think people have been moving to since the advent of electronic air conditioning. Ever since the air conditioner was invented, people started moving to Florida. Oh, yeah, we can live there now. So sooner or later, it'll be really expensive down there, too. But,
is it not already? New York used to be, Florida used to be where all the New Yorkers went to retire
Right.
when at least where I was growing up. So everybody's grandparents were in a condo in Florida when I was young, and those didn't seem affordable to me, is what I'm trying to say. It wasn't for poor people. It was still kind of for rich people, these neighborhoods. So I don't know how affordable Florida is.
Well, there's
It's hot,
definitely
though.
there's parts of Florida that are still very affordable. I think near Disney, believe it or not, is still, Orlando blew up. It's still considered affordable compared to Long Island and New York and all that kind of stuff. But it's not like super affordable.
Yeah.
Dean
Nothing
is in
is.
the chat room. I was thinking about Dean last night.
Hey, Dean.
Dean lived in 34 countries. He says he's below the radar, but he's staying in New York City. But I'm not saying this in a negative way. Believe me, I love Dean. Doesn't he seem to you like a native New Yorker, somebody who's been there all his life? It seemed to me like he even has a New York accent. I know he doesn't call it a beret, he calls it a fangle.
It's a Kangol hat. It's a Kangol.
Yeah, whatever. But doesn't he seem like anybody you would know from New York your whole life?
Yeah, he sounds a lot like my Aunt Doris. They have the same accent, and I was surprised to learn that he wasn't always from New York.
And the way he's so mad. Like he reminds me a little bit of Jimmy Breslin.
Jimmy Breslin.
No, I mean like it's a good drinking beer. That was Jimmy Breslin's line. It's a good Schmitz. It's a good drinking beer. It was like a 65 cents a 6-pack or something.
maybe this kind of attitude. If you have this kind of attitude, maybe that's why you stay in New York. And maybe
that's
why he likes New York.
That's why he feels like a regular. He feels like somebody I could have known my whole life from the neighborhood. Definitely, you could walk into any bar in New York and find a guy who converses the way that Dean does, and just
but not with his particular background. I mean, to talk to him to learn what his interests are, it doesn't necessarily line up with what you think a New Yorker's interest would be. I find it fascinating.
Yeah, cool guy. He's a cool guy. He'll be here Wednesday. I forget who the guest is that day. I'll look it up. A comedian. I have comedians on all the rest of the week. But yeah, Dean is definitely a cool guy, and I love his personality. I think he's like, he's a character, and I love characters. I love people who have character to them. They're not just like, cardboard cutouts of other people. So, what are you doing for fun these days? I mean, New York City, you're making cocktails. We know that. Yeah, and I know that you put out your first cat. Is that your first cattails?
Yes, I did my first cattails cocktails with me, and it was fun. But I didn't obviously prepare. I mean, I don't know if you watched it or if you just liked it and didn't watch it. Oh, thanks. But I just was winging it because I needed to just get something out. I just sort of wanted to try and see how it worked. I didn't want to over rehearse or anything. I almost cut my finger off.
I think that's the best format. And I want to say something. You did great numbers. I know you look at it and say, I think it was like, it's probably around 300 views right now. You'll look at that and say, that's not great numbers. But for your first thing and not knowing how to use the tags in YouTube to create all that stuff, not really having a graphic artist to work your thumbnails and all that stuff.
Right.
That's a great start. So I think
Thanks.
That proves that if you want to do this, do that as like and do it as a supplemental income. You could do one a week and build up some really strong following. You got a lot of subscribers from that. You got quite a few views for a first thing.
I did. I've and as you know, I've been doing the song stuff for 2 months, but the drinks thing finally got 2 of my real life friends to subscribe. So I know what's important to my friends in real life, drinking. And I think that was important to YouTube too, because it did pretty well. I will say, you're right. I don't know 100% about I know that you can hashtag, and I know that you can get search terms in there. So I did attach some hashtags to the video, but I also looked up cattails. I don't know if Beth is still in the chat, but she was the one who suggested cattails. And so I went to YouTube and I looked up cattails, and I didn't see anyone else doing cocktails with it, which I thought was good, because then it's a unique thing, right? But I
Right.
wanted to still have the word cocktails in the title, so if someone was searching for cocktails, so that was the extent of my, like, that's why it's a first step, because I
Yeah.
don't know that that was right, but I feel like I did a little bit of maybe this is smart to, but I didn't know what I was going to call it when I made the video either, so that's why I'm saying I was just winging it. So thank you,
Well,
Beth.
for titles like that, especially for learning things, and not necessarily exactly the phrase, but anything that alludes to how to,
Right.
how to make, those are really powerful titles, and you
Mm-hmm.
should include those also in the hashtags. There are tools, TubeBuddy, vidIQ, and all these kind of things that will take your first keyword or a hashtag in there and suggest the ones that are relevant to it, and help you build that out. They're really cheap too. Some of them like $9 a month or something like that. But what they do is they really help you. They basically, it's an autofill tune. They basically, you just click on it and it gives you a bunch of suggestions based on your content and your description, and fills that out for you.
Interesting.
What's interesting about that, I have one of those, and Jamie Dykes. If I put in Jamie Dykes, I will get, it would suggest Joe Rogan, Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle. I mean, it
Wow.
goes down the list of all these famous, like, why is Jamie Dykes associated with these people?
Wow.
Out of everybody I've had on, he draws up the most famous people in his and his associated stuff, from vidIQ and from TubeBuddy, both.
All right.
It's just really weird, but
Let's
most of the time,
let's keep Jamie around then. He's valuable. That's good to know.
um, my biggest, I'm finding out that the biggest thing that I've done in the last month or so is the Atlantis thing. Now I know when you were on when I brought it up to Scott, and Scott's question is like, why should I even care about that? I did ask that guy that question, and he's like, well, it's important to know where we come from and all that kind of stuff. But that video is gone bonkers, so I have to do more stuff. I feel like I have to do more stuff on the evening program for the paranormal audience. I kind of left that stuff in my past, and I say yes to them whenever they request them, but I haven't been out looking for them. But you know what? You got to do what pays the bills at some point. I abandoned what was really paying the bills, which was my business stuff during the day, because it was just so boring for me. Business guests every day talking about leadership and how you team building and all that. You know what? I left the corporate world because I wasn't interested in that bullshit. And now here I am just talking about it every day. But that was paid my mortgage for a whole year.
Well, those types of books, those don't ever stop, because people leave business and they're like, I'll write a book. I'll write a how to succeed in business type of thing. And those people usually get publicists, and those publicists are looking for shows to put the business. It's like a
right.
Like
I didn't have to work. I didn't have to work to book them.
Keep feeding the pipeline and everything, but
it booked itself. But I had to, every 1 o'clock in the afternoon when the show started, I would sit there thinking, I want to kill myself, because I have to feign interest.
Right.
And all these guests are going to hear me saying this and think,
no, but that's part of it. I watched some of your early shows. I remember we caught you doing the Stanhope one, was the first time I've seen you. But I watched some of your shows after, and I thought you did a good job. If you were feigning interest, you did a good job feigning it, because you seemed like you read the material and that. But I guess after you just keep doing it, maybe it starts to become tougher.
Well, I could have written their books for them. That's the thing. I had a lot of experience doing exactly what they do. So if you tell me how to be a marketing director, I was a marketing director for 4 different companies along the line, with thousands of different other jobs that I've had. So you name just about any job you're going to write about, I've had it.
But that makes you a good interviewer if you can still hide the fact that you're bored stiff, and if you want to do that, you don't have to do that. Obviously, you can cut it off and go down new exciting paths. I mean, I'm doing this and I'm not getting paid shit, and I love it.
Well, we're definitely put in a request with HR to get Kat on the payroll here.
Yeah, this is my 3rd interview. I don't think I haven't been hired, so.
Well, this one's a little different because there's no guest taking up a lot of the wind.
Right.
in the past too.
I
Who to
was
get?
nervous. I was nervous about talking to your guests because I feel like on a good talk show you have a back and forth with your host, and then I didn't want to interrupt any of your conversations that you were having. But you're a good. You threw to me very well. You're good at this. I think this is why you should still keep doing it despite all the hate mail. I think you know what you're doing.
Jamie's got something to say about his. I'm probably the greatest comic I know personally. That's just my opinion, but I'm really rarely wrong. I belong on top of that list. I think it's probably just because they thought you were a dyke. That's probably why.
You think? I
No.
don't know. He said I'm a natural, so I'm gonna still be
Oh
nice
yeah,
to
so you
Jamie.
be nice to him. I'll be mean to him.
Okay, good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, Jamie, I will say I believed in him from the start. I think he's got a ton of potential. I think he needs a good kick in the ass.
We all do. We all do.
He needs
We all
Nathaniel Ratliff's mother.
That SOB song is great. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you
That's
know
a
Hey
good
Mama?
No.
I was learning that this weekend, and I had to learn the lyrics. And it's "Hey Mama," and she said, "Better slow down. I know you've been running. Come on, Mama, hand to me." He says, "Sonny boy, you better sit down. My only son, this will be so hard to hear." And then basically she said, "I know I never beat you." She said, "Son, let me reason with you. You think you carry such a weight. I know I never beat you, boy, but you better start acting like this here's a race." I was like, wow, that's a tough mother. And I'm thinking about it being a teenage boy and hearing that from, your mother saying, I know I never beat you. You got to think there's a beating coming. I know I never beat you, but there's a first time for everything.
That's what it sounds like is coming next. Here it comes.
Yeah. Now you grew up with a lot of kids, right? You were a big family?
Yeah, my mom had a lot of kids on her own, and then maybe because she was an only child, I don't know, she never really explained why, but she took in foster kids also. So there were always strangers in my house, like one at a time. This is Danny, this is Wesley, this is for a while she took in infants. Little born addicted to drugs babies and special needs kids.
Wow.
So there were always people in my house.
I dig your mom. Good heart.
Yeah, she had a great heart. I mean, it was an interesting way to grow up in that I had a lot of short-term relationships with people, because they weren't there for too long. Foster care is either a couple weeks, couple months. Sometimes
So
it doesn't work out.
What about actual brothers and sisters? How you got?
Yeah, I have 2 sisters and I have three brothers. Well, 2 brothers that were born to my mom, 1 brother that was adopted, and then 2 foster brothers that sort of became part of the family. So
Wow.
there's
Keep
a
in
lot
touch
of
with
us.
all of them?
Yeah, to some degree. Everybody kind of.
Do they know you're a
goes-
major television star now?
They don't. I haven't told them any of this. I haven't showed them my movie, my music. I haven't showed them the cattails.
Wow. Why? You shy? Is that or you why?
How long do we have? No, this is my thing right now. I'm enjoying it, and I don't want them to shit on it.
Would they? Because
I don't know.
I'll tell you what. I thought my brother would be negative about what I'm doing, because he always was in the past. But he's not now. He's very supportive of what I'm doing, which is shocking.
Right.
Maybe because we're getting older. But yeah, I get that. But I never. Are you going out of your way to hide it, or are you just not?
No, I'm not going out of my way to hide it. No, it just hasn't come up. It hasn't come up.
All right. So yeah, but it's good.
I think I don't want anybody talking me out of it. And family can be kind of blunt in that they'll say, "Oh, that's interesting. What are you doing for a real job? What are you doing for this?" And I'm having fun doing these things now that don't have money attached to them. And I guess I don't want to be talked out of it.
My family got freaked out by so many times when they asked me what I was doing for a real job that they stopped asking. Like, I don't want to know what he's doing now. One guy I remember, on a break, and we didn't take break. Very rarely took breaks with the band, and almost never do. But we were on a break one night, and a guy who was a fan came over and he was talking to me. He said, "I saw you talking about doing autopsies on Facebook." He said, "Was that your job?" And I was like, "Dude, you think I would do that for fun? Does anybody do autopsies for fun anymore? This is the problem with autopsies. Nobody does it for fun anymore. Just for fun."
Well, they do, but those people are called serial killers. So I don't.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
yeah. So I think, basically when my family started asking, "What are you doing for real job these days?" I'd come out with answers like that, and they'd be like, "How did we get him? Where did this kid come from?" So lots of that stuff.
Yeah.
And it always people are fascinated by that. More than any of my other so-called careers. I don't think of any of them were real careers. Good, if you think about it, like a career being 20 years or something. It was like 4 or 5 years here, then totally changed jobs and professions and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of really, really weird stuff along the way.
I think that makes you a more well-rounded person. I think that's part of why you probably can talk to a lot of different people from different walks of life, is because you've dipped a toe in all of these areas, I guess.
Yeah. I think spending some time inside mental institutions definitely helps.
I would 100%. I mean, because I worked with special needs kids for years, and that also teaches you a little bit about patience and a little bit about what it means to be a person in the world, and what intelligence really is, and knowing some intelligent children that didn't have a high IQ, but that had more common sense than people my age that were, supposedly regular people, So I just feel like it's just part of your experience in talking to people is the more people you've interacted with, the better off you are as a listener and a talker, and
a lot of truth to that. A lot of truth to that. And you know what? Different people from all. I remember one time on a train into New York City. I was like 12 years old, and people freak out when I tell them those kind of stories because the world was such a different place when I was growing up that there were no Amber Alerts. My parents didn't have any qualms about letting me get on a train to go into New York City at 9 years old by myself. Just get on the Long Island Railroad. What could go wrong?
Right.
But I remember being on there at 12 years old, and there was a guy I met from Mexico City who didn't speak a word of English, and I didn't speak a word of Spanish at that time. And we managed to communicate. We learned to communicate with each other.
How long was this train ride? Jeez.
From Copeg to Penn Station is an hour and 10 minutes.
True.
And so in that hour and 10 minutes, we actually taught each other some of each other's language, and were able to kind of strike up a friendship. He was a man, and I was a 12-year-old boy. Nobody would think, again, nobody tried to say, wait a minute, that's inappropriate at the time. But I don't think there were any weird intentions there. This was just a guy who was going into New York City. He was from Babylon. He come from the Babylon station, which is 2 stops before mine.
I know the line.
Yeah.
I can recite it. You want me to recite it?
Go ahead. Yeah. Let's see how you do.
Wait,
Let
okay.
me get a pen. I got it. No. Go ahead. I'll keep track and see if you got anything wrong.
Okay, I got to start from the city. Wait, so.
Oh, you're going from Penn towards.
No, okay,
Babylon?
so I can start from Baldwin. I think it goes Baldwin, Freeport, Merrick, Belmore, Wantagh, Seaford, Massapequa, Park, Amityville, Copeg, Lindenhurst, Babylon. How did I do?
That's pretty good from Baldwin. But then you got
I
to
missed St. Albans. You don't always stop at St. Albans. That's why I missed that one.
Well, if you're going from Penn just on the Babylon line, it's Penn Station, Jamaica, Lynbrook, Rockville.
Lynbrook, I forgot Lynbrook and Rockville Center. Damn.
Rockville Center, Freeport, Baldwin.
Yeah, right.
And you got them all right after that.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's been a while. I don't know, but I used to take that line, so that's why I know. It's so stupid.
Yeah. You ever take the northern lines? Oh my God, what a mess the northern lines are.
The place we lived near Flushing was a train that did not ever go into Jamaica. It skips it. So that north line, Port Washington maybe, or Bayside, I don't remember like where it terminates. If it terminates in Bayside or further, but that never went to Jamaica. So if that train got messed up, you just couldn't get home.
Yeah.
You just couldn't, because you couldn't go to Jamaica and get another train. You just had to take a bus or whatever. It was terrible.
Out east, where I lived for a while, and I know I'm out east now, but I live further
You're
out
out
east
east,
than where I
yeah.
am now. I had the Long Island Railroad train that ran through my backyard, basically. I had a big piece of property, but just at the edge of the property, the railroad track went through there. And one day, 2 federal officers and a Long Island Railroad cop came knocking on my door about a guy who committed suicide by walking out in front of a train. And did I know anything about it? Like, guy, because they don't have it's not lifted out there. So,
Right.
but what a weird way to kill yourself. Is that he walked out in front of a train that was doing like 90 miles an hour, just walked out in front of it and just let it splatter him.
I mean, he was determined.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough way to go. And, you know, out of all the ways, that started me thinking about how would you, if you were so inclined, what would you do? And I thought, because I chicken out no matter what I tried to do. I chicken out. I'm afraid of dying. I'm not afraid of being dead. I'm afraid of the actual act of dying.
Yeah.
So I thought the only thing that would stop me from chickening out is swimming. If I swam out into the ocean far enough that I couldn't get back, I'd have no choice but to go through with it, because basically you get too far out and you can't get back. And so the idea was I'd be fish food. And so I put that online.
I know where this is going. Go ahead. I mean, I'm guessing where this is going, but go ahead, please.
And that's when, so we were playing a gig that night, and we were playing a gig on the beach at Cedar Beach, on the Ocean
I know
Parkway.
Cedar Beach. Yeah.
Yeah. And the cops showed up to drag me off stage, thinking that I was there to kill myself, in front of an audience. I'm just gonna say, wait a minute, watch this. Go running out into the ocean, swim out there, and kill myself.
You're like, man, I'm really dying up here. The cops showed up.
Right. But that was one of the proudest moments of my life, is being dragged off stage by a couple of big cops. And you don't know what that does for your rock star cred.
Rock star cred, for sure. Everyone in the audience was like, oh, my God.
No, I didn't tell them what it was about, but...
No.
Everything all right? Everything all right? Yeah, this little murder thing they wanted to know about. I don't know.
Technically, that's correct. It was death. It was death related.
Yeah.
Wow, man, you've got some good stories.
So, if I were to put out the same kind of poll that I put out, question that I put out to Twitter, who should I, celebrity, big time celebrity. Now, OJ was covered.
Right.
John Hinckley, crazy, stupid stuff. But really, I mean, sky's the limit. Who would you like to hear me talk to on either this show or the evening show?
Sky's the limit is hard for me. Can we just go like group by group, like actor, comedian, whatever? Cause
Musicians.
Musicians.
Yeah.
I think you should go local. I think you need to pick
Billy Joel.
Of the most local.
Billy Joel's my local guy.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, Billy Joel's still alive. Yes.
I mean, Billy Joel would be a great get for Long Island. That would be great for Long Island. The only one I can think of is comedian, and I would love to see you interview Dave Attell.
Dave Attell's local,
Yeah,
and I think that's a possibility. I really do.
Yeah.
The problem I'm having with Attell is I know he hasn't opened anything that I've sent to him, because I send receipts to say, to check if things been opened or read.
Right,
He doesn't even bother open it. But I think if I could get in touch with him and explain why I would be a great person for him to talk to and why I would love to talk to him, I think I could get him. I think he's down to earth enough. He is definitely he gets me like I get him, because he is. I've never met anybody more Long Island than I
Right.
mean, I felt like I knew Dave Attell the first time I saw him. I was like, I know that guy. Oh no, I don't know him. He just reminds me of everybody else I know.
Right.
uh,
That's funny. That's funny how that maybe that's why I like him too, because I have that feeling like I could have gone to high school with this guy. He's the kind of guy who would make me laugh in school and that, but I just think he's an interesting dude, and he's so always doing his material that I would love to see somebody talk to him and maybe in between the material get a little bit of stories that we hadn't heard. I think you could do that. I think
yeah, I
he'd
know
be-
people who talked to him when he was doing the Insomnia stuff because he
Yes.
did a Long Island Railroad tour of pubs. He would go to eat, like he'd go to Massapequa and get off there and go to a pub there and then
like
get back on.
Mulcahy's and
Right.
stuff. So yeah.
And he's
Interesting.
extremely open, like
Yes.
too open.
Yeah.
Like even more than I am. Like he has no filter about stopping about anything from his past or anything that's current through. I mean, he talks very openly about his love for pornography.
Well, Dave's Old Porn was a fantastic show. Fantastic show.
Right.
It was great in the way that he would make someone feel comfortable, but also super uncomfortable by sitting them next to some woman that they definitely enjoyed over and over in the privacy of their room. And then he's sitting on the couch. Brilliant. I love that show.
Yeah, we have to say
That's why I
goodbye
feel
to
like-
Govs.